State Auditor and former COA Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Officer Roderick Wamil concluded, among other things, the Vice President did not adhere to strict compliance audit rules in accounting for the disbursement of her confidential and intelligence funds as Vice President and DepEd Secretary. The most glaring of all are the non-submission of sales invoices or receipts and the omission of a status or success report for shadow and clandestine services like bounties or payments for critical information. Our Bernard Ferrer tells us more on today's witness who capped a 3-day long cross-examination on Article 4 of the Vice President's impeachment trial.
Huwag kang mag-alala, ma'am, sa security ko. Kasi may kinausap na ako na tao. Sinabi ko sa kanya, kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Araneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke.
This statement by Vice President Sara Duterte on November 23, 2024 became the focus of Article 4 involving her alleged grave threats. The alleged threats against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez were taken up on the second day of her impeachment trial. NBI Senior Agent John Mark Lilung was the first to take the witness stand, authenticating the live stream of Duterte's online press conference. Kalilung said the NBI sent a preservation request to Meta and created a screen recording and hash value to verify that the video had not been altered. After the prosecution and defense debated whether to show 2 minutes or the entire 2-hour video, the court was shown the portion containing Duterte's statement. Senator Judge Rizon Tiveros asked why the alleged threat could be considered a serious basis for impeachment. The prosecution argued that the statement allegedly pointed to a planned and systematic plot to have the president and other officials killed.
Yung pagbabanta ng Vice Presidente sa buhay ng Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, hindi po yan normal. Iyan po ay unang pagkakataon na nangyari yan, nakipagkontrata sa isang mamamatay tao, Your Honor, please, to do that. Even without going into the question, is that a criminal act, Your Honor, please? That act's 110% sure betrayed the public trust that the Vice President got in the previous elections.
Thank you.
Senator Judge Pia Cayetano objected, saying the question had already veered into closing arguments. Cayetano asked that the prosecution response to be stricken from the record. On the third day of the trial, the defense cross-examined Kalilung, questioning his training and expertise in digital forensics. The court was also shown a video of OBP Chief of Staff Attorney Zuleika Lopez objecting to plans to transfer her to the Women's Correctional Facility. The defense also scrutinized the transcript of the online press conference. Kalilung maintained that the video was not AI-generated.
Based on my experience, Your Honor, and the video itself, it's a 2 hours long. Normally, an AI-generated video will only last a short second, sir.
Kalilung said the press conference was conducted by the OVP and attended by 40 participants, including members of the mainstream media. Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo also asked whether the NBI could file a case involving threats against higher-ranking officials even without a personal complaint.
Ang basis namin doon, Your Honor, is yung primary objective namin to investigate cases to the threat to the President, Vice President, Senate President, Supreme Court. And if we found that the evidence is enough that there is a crime committed, we will file a case because that's the output of our investigation, sir.
Kahit po ba na hindi yung biktima, in this case, yung Pangulo, biktima ng threat, kahit na hindi siya nagreklamo, automatic po yun? Kahit na hindi siya nagreklamo sa inyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
As the trial entered its second week, Duterte's online press conference was again presented as evidence.
Hindi mo pala gusto ginagawa mo eh. Bakit mo sinisira pangalan ko? Joel Chua. Gusto ko lang tapusin nyo na yung ng show ninyo dyan sa House of Representatives.
The prosecution presented several instances where Duterte used profanity, including remarks directed at House prosecution and Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chua. NBI BARMM Regional Director Attorney Jerry Milotok said the NBI sent Duterte 2 subpoenas, but the Vice President did not personally appear and was instead represented by her lawyer.
The Vice President in effect was saying there were office matters to tend to, so she cannot attend the scheduled subpoena.
The NBI recommended the filing with 3 counts of grave threats and 1 count of inciting to sedition. On July 14, the prosecution objected to the defense's repeated questioning of Lotuk over typographical errors in his documents.
Ito bang mga sinasabing maling spelling, maling petsa, maling docket number, no? Meron bang epekto ito dun sa seryosong usapin ng pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan sa pamamagitan ng pagkakaroon, no, ng agreement, no, sa isang mamatay tao na patayin ng presidente?
On July 21st, NBI Director Attorney Melvin Matibag took the witness stand. According to the NBI's assessment, the alleged threat and plot to kill the president went beyond the issue of grave threats and had become a national security concern.
Ang malinaw na banta at planong pagpatay po sa ating Pangulo na para sa amin po sa law enforcement, ito ay nag-transcend na sa banta po sa ating national security.
Matibag also said that discussing the killing of the president constituted betrayal of public trust and a violation of the vice president's oath of office. He also confirmed that there was actionable intelligence involving a threat against President Marcos, none involving the alleged threat against the vice president.
Doon po mismo sa kanyang oath of office bilang Vice President, sinabi niya that protect and defend the Constitution, execute the laws, do justice to everyone, and consecrate herself to protect the nation. Pero doon po sa sinabing execute the laws, dito po na nakikita, hindi po execute the laws, yung pag-usap ng papatay. That is to execute the president. Kaya doon po papasok yung magkaiba na betrayal of public trust.
The NBI also investigated statements made during the Rage Coalition rally on April 12, 2026, including remarks against the president by Davao City Mayor Sebastian Baste Duterte.
Tama na yan. That's okay. Isang ulo lang naman ang kailangan namin. Ang ulo ni Bongbong Marcos!
Matibag said the NBI compared these remarks with earlier statements made by the Vice President, including one during an Office of the Vice President online press conference October 18, 2024.
Gusto ko tanggalin yung ulo niya ba? I realized toxic na yung relationship.
The NBI also looked into what it described as an alleged pattern of violence involving the Vice President, including a 2011 incident in which she allegedly punched a Davao Regional Trial Court sheriff. The following day, Matibag maintained that alleged betrayal of public trust had already been consummated, citing what he described as Duterte's admission. The impeachment court denied the defense motion to strike the statement from the official record. Matibag also revealed that the NBI was looking into the possibility that the alleged contract killer could be from the Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group, or VPSPG. About 20 individuals are still being investigated.
May mga pangalan na po kami nito. Sa katunayan po, yung iba po rito, kausap na po namin yung kanilang mga pamilya o kakilala. So, ganun po yung proseso. That's why sinabi ko, baka in 3 to 6 months, we can finally identify kung sino yung personalidad na yun.
The NBI Transnational Crime Division was also investigating possible foreign involvement in the alleged plot to kill President Marcos while he was abroad.
Yung pong mga pagbabiyahe ng ating Pangulo, we have to also monitor it because the possibility of endangering the life of the President during his time that is outside of the country, nandoon din po yan.
After the hearing, the impeachment court formally ended its proceedings on Article 4 involving the Vice President's alleged grave threats. Both sides were also directed to observe the sub judice rule as the court prepares to proceed with the other articles of impeachment. Bernard Ferrer, for The Nation.